The show is over now, without my final bow. The fates would not allow, and never will until the end. I seem to have fallen into place, furthest, the most, from grace, with nothing but the earnests of taste, the salt of the earth, it burns my face. I scream yet have no mouth, and I have infinity to figure this all out. Tragedy's like a broken clock at midnight, meaning it's always on the clock, even though it's not right. Too young, too soon, too much. Who knew this would be the end? We cry, we pray to die in vain. Please pray for me, my friend. Please pray for me! What's going on, everybody? SDB, what's going on? Hey, Susie Banner. What's going on? Welcome to the Pray For Me release party live stream. What's going on, everybody? Sorry if it's been a minute since I streamed, and I apologize if for the alerts being a little weird, not being able to hear sound. But yeah, what's going on, everybody? Big day for me, and releasing this new song. Very interesting. It's a new beginning, a new chapter, and I think the reception so far has been pretty positive. You know, I'm glad to see a lot of people are liking the new sound, and I just thought it'd be a good idea to come on to it and do a live stream. I kind of talk with you guys, see how you've been, and kind of talk about the new song, and then kind of talk about what it all means and what it all means to this new chapter, and this new start for me. But of course, if you could like and share the stream out, that'd be much appreciated. And yeah, you know, it's very exciting. Let me get some shout outs going. We got Ramsey in the chat. What's going on, Ramsey? We got Stosh. What's going on, Stosh? You bet another. We got my brother Matthew. What's up, man? We got Jesus. I just came for the bubbly. Oh, okay, good. You talking about bubbly as in the alcoholic or non-alcoholic sparkling water? I'd go for that one. Where the bubbly at? It was BYB. You're supposed to bring your own, bro. Don't go hiding the bubbly from me. I'm not hiding anything. Inverse sweats. Well, I can explain. What's that falling in forward? Nice set of part Y because sweats said so. What's going on, Mickey? I don't know where you're getting that from, Jesus. But I you know, there's a lot. Like I said before, there's a new beginning and it's a new story, and eventually it all makes sense. But I appreciate everyone for coming in. And I'll talk about the track a little bit. Oh, and I had mentioned before that I was gonna maybe do a game stream after this. I'm probably gonna have to push that back to another date because I have to wake up early for work and whatnot tonight. But definitely I'll plan that later on this week. So my apologies if you're looking forward to that, but we could do that another time this week or in the future. Thanks, Mickey. Thanks. But anyway, so yeah, the new song "Pray for Me." Well, like I was saying before, it's the very first track of the new album. It's a new kind of everything new, new sound, new style, a new story. I guess because it has been a minute since I did an album, and it has been a minute since I've done like an actual story. And for the past couple of years, I haven't really, um, nothing has really sort of clicked in order to tell a story. You know what I mean? But eventually, it was um, it was in the later half of last year where I really sat down to kind of sit down and just had time to create. I think that's why I kind of went dark on a lot of social media, just because I just wanted to focus on creating. um and I think eventually, as the weeks go by, I'll slowly start to drip out some of the behind the scenes stuff, which it's actually have right here, which it's actually really complicated because at least I didn't think it was going to be this complicated in order to transfer over uh, the video files. But as you can see here, this is a more of a retro sort of camcorder here going on. And since a lot of the themes that I'm dealing with is sort of retro and like you know analog, I guess is the correct way to term it. uh I actually found one of these, and I wanted to make good use of them, which I did. Which a lot of behind the scenes stuff, it was here on tapes, which these do have tape. They're kind of like a mix of like analog plus like digital. Um, but I didn't realize that it was gonna be such a pain in the ass in order to transfer over the analog files and convert them to digital. So I have to like kind of get a couple of really like kind of pricey cables and whatnot in order to transfer over the video from analog to digital onto my PC, and then from there kind of render it out. Um but I thought it was cool to kind of keep in the theme of the new style and the new theme overall for what I'm going for. Um, so you'll get a chance. We'll get a chance to see that in the future. Um, let's see here. What's going on, Kaiju? You bad mother. Jason Black. What's going on, you bad mother? That's right. It's a party. So it's looking like a rejected raccoon right now. Focus on being the best kayaker and toilet plunger this side of the Mississippi. That was good. I will. I will. That's definitely, if there's one thing that I accomplish out of all this, if I could be the number one toilet plunger kayaker, that would be the main goal. That is the main goal. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely look forward to some of that behind the scenes stuff coming from those. It's actually I actually found two. I actually found two camcorders that are like that. They're pretty much identical, but man, I had bought this like expensive like conversion thing, like $120 to convert. Like what it basically was to do what I wanted it to do was to convert like a analog like tape, because I have a version of what the tapes are like. It's like these. It's like some of these. Um, and yeah, I mean, I had gotten that thinking that it was gonna work out perfectly, but it's these specific cameras, it's just a little weirder, and so, but I'm still working on it in order to get it to get that footage. I remember when I found old folks tape stash. Oh, really? Uh, what was on the tapes? If you don't mind me asking. But anyway, uh, okay, I'll tell her. Fatuma, Cass said hi. She said hi back. But anyway, so let's go ahead and look into the song here. Um, which, by the way, let me know what you guys think of the new song. Maybe what you like, maybe something you didn't like, maybe something I could have done better. Because going into this album, I knew that, you know, I specifically Pray For Me had a lot of the heavy lifting to do for the album because um it kind of had this first song has to kind of set the pace for the rest of the songs coming forward. Um and so that's kind of like a big burden for a song to bear, and you only get one chance really to kind of like excite people and get people interested, and that's the burden that Pray For Me had. And but it seems that people are liking it from what I've seen so far, so that's good. um and shout out to the homie Johnny Walker. He had asked me a question to bring up here on the live stream, was that what made me want to release this song on this day. Well, as many of you probably know, that today was my birthday, and I don't really like bringing much, you know, attention to it, you know, personally. Um, but uh, to put it, like, to be very frank, it was actually it made sense in two ways. One is it was on my birthday, so I'd kind of have a little bit more attention directed towards me, and I could kind of use that to say, "Oh, thank you. By the way, I had this new song right here. If you care to listen." That was one of the reasons, but there's actually a reason narratively in the story of this album that it actually kind of makes sense for this song, for the very first song to come out on my birthday. Which, if I don't know how many of you seen the actual like kind of teaser that I put out on my YouTube, but I kind of had this thing where it was like, you know, when one door closes, another one opens, which, you know, it makes sense it makes sense when with the it makes sense with the with the story and the theme of the album. And the thing I definitely the thing that I'm definitely like, again, like, so this is like a this year really is all about this album and this story that I'm trying to tell. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you every single thing in detail right up front. I'm gonna give you little bits and pieces of the story, and I do that through the videos that I post, like that kind of teaser that I had put out on the YouTube channel, kind of like teasing the release of this song. And, you know, going like maybe next week or the week after that, you'll kind of see another video that kind of like explains the story a little bit more. And I hope you guys like really kind of enjoy that, and it intrigues you, you know. So whenever we talk about the story of this particular song, I'm gonna be maybe a little vague, but it's really just to kind of it's really for the experience's sake. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see. Let's read some chats here. Here, Ramsey did all the work on the single. Oh, you sound like ouch. Yeah, man, I'm a lazy piece of shit, bro. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I hope I might have to check. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you, Ramsey. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jason, as well. Thank you, Manticore. Thank you. What did I think of this? Yes. What did you think of the song, Steve? Fire. It burned my heart up. Fucking loved it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. By the way, next week, because I'm kind of also trying to keep up with the whole like sort of content, you know, consistency. So if you like the song and you're thinking to yourself, dang, I really want an instrumental of this song, fret not, because there will be an instrumental of Pray For Me dropping next week on Monday on my YouTube and on Spotify and all the other, platforms. So just keep an eye on that. And I also know we have a lot of creators in here as well. So if you want to use any of the instrumental or whatever, feel free for your own purposes. So long as I get a credit, that's a win-win. Let's see here. Main his feelings. It must be good. You guys are the best. All right, but okay, let's go. Let's go ahead and play some of the song here. So you may or may not know, there was like two versions of the song that I cut. It was one was an album edit and one was a single edit. The single edit just being a shorter without an intro or an outro sort of like skit. The album edit, which is obviously is longer and it includes those skits. So we'll go ahead and just kind of listen to the album edit and kind of I could give you like sort of hints into what we're listening to here. Let me know how the volume is as well. I could try turning things up a little bit. I was talking that whole time without the mic. Wow. Anyway, like I was saying before when I had the mic turned on, um, so basically, um, I had fun making this part because it was a chance for me to get a little bit more experimental, and it was a part of the song of itself that it wasn't really meant for the music's sake. It was more so for the narrative sake, and and it was just enough, but it wasn't too much. And like I was saying before, that whenever you're kind of doing like a story, like narrative type thing, um, it's kind of like we're here for the music, right? So you can, but it's I don't know if it's in the best form, but um, whenever like I wanted to make sure that with this that the music was first. The music came first, and that that was the main goal. And any sort of narrative stuff, and I mean, this is holds true for any other song that comes out, and then in the following months of this year, and any sort of video content that I put out. But with this album, with these songs, I wanted the music to take center stage, and but with that's kind of the beautiful thing about like this new age of streaming and stuff is that you could kind of like put out different variations of different spins on stuff, and like it could still make sense so long as you have like a good solid song, you know what I mean? um So yeah, it feels quiet. Okay. Peaceful. Okay. Best friend not knowing it should be at the end of the day. I would never. Now we hear nothing. Okay. Thank you, Kaiju. I appreciate that. What's going on, Papaya? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I did mute myself. My apologies. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. I'm just reading some of your chats. Wake up again. But yeah. Let me see if I can turn up the turn this up. I'll slap a limiter on this thing. Maybe that'll help a little bit. So yeah. I don't know if I saw any in the chat. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't really like, drawing too much attention to my, birthday or whatever, but I tried to like utilize it as much as possible. Yeah, that's right. I don't have a birthday. I was just sort of poofed into existence, between the multiverses, which the multiverse, there is this it is part of this story, just so you know. And I'll give little hints and tidbits, but the reason, why I look different than I have in the past kind of like goes in with that, that theory, so you can just make of that what you will, and the full story will eventually by the end of the year be present and present itself, eventually to everyone. Yeah, what'd you think, Papaya? What'd you think? Let's see here. So going into the rest of the song here. Let me know how the volume is now. I don't know if it's gonna be too much. So actually, now that I recall, the initial song, the title for this song was Trespassing, and it was for this album that I had been working on previously but never actually went through with. And so this was kind of like a holdover from that idea, these chords specifically. um these chords were one of those parts of that original song that actually made it into this final mix. And I really kind of liked how it wavered. I kind of liked how it was sort of like this off tune sort of pad, and I also intentionally put like a lot of white noise and air into it to kind of give it a more of a spacey sort of, vibe. The show is over now, without my final bow. The fates would not allow, and never will, until the end. I seem to have fallen into place, furthest, the most from grace, with nothing. Okay, so Steve is saying that's actually pretty huge. Steve says that this is his new favorite sweat song. That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Dang, that's really cool. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. In case you're wondering why that's significant, is because you know whenever me and Steve had talked about my music before, uh, especially a lot of the singles that I've done before. I mean, after my first album, which Gone was on that first album, he'd always say it's my songs were good, but his Gone was always would always be his favorite. But Steve's saying that now that this might be his new favorite. That's crazy. That's awesome.
The show is over now. Without my final bow, the fates would not allow, and never will until the end.
So can I go over some of the lyrics there? The show is over now. Before my final bow, the fates would not allow, and never will until the end. Again, not gonna like kind of tell the meaning and the story behind that to the detriment of the story, but I think it kind of it's like this sense of it's kind of like leading up into the title of this song, right? It's Pray For Me. It's searching for faith in desolation, right? And kind of something being cut short before it should have been over, you know. uh, um that's kind of the inference from those lyrics without touching the story.
The show allow will until the end.
And I did those vocals with a plugin that I could show you. Let's see here. Creative Effects, Replica, Guitar Rig, Contact. Where is this? It's where's it at? Isotope, Vocal Doubler. Is it Nectar? No. I'm looking for the okay, Vocal Synth. I don't know if it's gonna let me have it. So basically, I don't think you guys can see it actually. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I'm gonna put that away then. But basically, it's this plugin called Vocal Synth 2, and basically it can kind of give you these vocoder distorted, like robotic sort of vocals, and that's what I used for that. And I kind of liked how the beginning intro lyrics are kind of soft and kind of airy, and then it kind of gets into this like robotic like glitched almost sound effect.
I seem to have fallen into place, furthest, the most, from grace, with nothing but the earnests of taste, the salt of the earth, it burns my face. I scream yet have no mouth, and I have infinity to figure this all out. Tragedy's like a broken clock at midnight, meaning it's always on the clock, even though it's not right. I seem to have fallen into place.
I seem to have fallen into place.
Furthest, the most, from grace.
Furthest, the most from grace.
With nothing but the earnests of tastes.
With nothing but the earnest of tastes.
The salt of the earth, it burns my face.
The salty earth that burns my face.
I scream yet have no mouth, and I have infinity to figure this all out. Tragedy's like a broken clock at midnight, meaning it's always on the clock, even though it's not right. Too young, too soon, too much. Who knew this would be the end? We cry, we pray to die in vain. Please pray for me, my friend.
So that part right there, Those lyrics right there, very, very telling of the story as well. But even aside from the story, again, it's kind of going back to this whole theme of searching for hope and faith in desolation and isolation, and yeah, but yeah, there is if you know a lot of other media and you kind of hear some of those lyrics in there, that can kind of point you in the direction of what the story is and stuff. But I'm not gonna say anything more. I'm not gonna say anything more. Let's see. So now we get more of a representation of the big orchestral sound, um, which is a main staple of this new sound and this album of itself. It's very orchestral, soundtrack, cinematic, which was very intentional. It was something that I, in my first album, which like a lot of people don't know about my first album and the stories behind it and stuff, which I would like eventually sometime this year like to put out some behind the scenes stuff to kind of like tell that story from the first album as well, because I do feel in a lot of ways, even though the narrative of that one doesn't really connect with this one, um the sound, the story of me trying to create the sound was pretty integral to the sound that I'm working with now, which is it's moody, it's maybe a little vibey, but also like very intense and just like orchestral. Like you could hear this in a movie, and that's very intentional as well. Because I also do have aspirations as a filmmaker. I feel like a lot of my past videos have kind of, at least I hope, have shown that. Um, but definitely this part is very indicative of a lot of the sounds that you'll hear in the future from other songs off the album.
Too young, too soon, you knew why'd you do this thing to me? We cry, we pray, I died in vain. Somebody please pray for me!
Okay. So just to kind of highlight some of the parts of that crescendo. Let's see here. So we have these tom drums that I'm sure we all could recognize that. We've heard that before in other like soundtracks and scores and stuff like that. Um, I want to show the horns as well, because when it comes to horns, at least for my ears, it's kind of your give or take. These obviously are VSTs. They're MIDI. They're not actually like horns that have been recorded. But um, I was very skeptical. I was very skeptical of using them, because when it comes to VST horns, it can kind of sound fake a lot of the times. It's very specific, at least to my ears. But when I heard these horns, I think this is them. So like they're very like bombastic, I think is the word that I would use. But how they work in conjunction with the toms and with everything else, we have this going. So we have some strings, and especially with the mixing involved, there was a lot of panning. But shout out to my engineer for this song and for the rest of the album, Lay B. He's an artist and an engineer based out of Argentina, and And I I asked him like to kind of like give him a preface of what the sound was without actually hearing it. Like I kind of like told him it was more of a cinematic sort of like electronica sort of indie sort of thing. I gotta give him credit, because it's not an easy thing to mix and to balance all these things. And I feel like he did a pretty good job, with what I gave him, and shout out to him. But yeah, so we have these horns going, these strings going. So you kind of hear that as well. There's some automated panning going on because you don't want everything. You don't want everything in the center because it's just gonna collide with everything. So that's the beautiful thing about automating left and right in your pans and stuff. It kind of clears out the mix and eventually make it sound more full. So that's going along with everything else. Let's see what else here I got. Some other smaller stuff. And then to kind of focus on the vocal aspect of it, let's see here.
Soon you knew why'd you do this thing to me? We cry, we pray, I died in vain. Somebody please pray for me!
Which that vocal, I thought, because how I went about actually recording the vocals for all the tracks of the album, I kind of scaled it from like 1 to 10. Okay, what would be the most difficult and what would be the least difficult? Some of the tracks on the album don't have any lyrics at all, so obviously those are gonna be at the bottom. But the ones that were the most difficult, I kind of put like at the top, and this was like the second one, I think, if not the first. And I thought, oh man, I need to hit this part and I need to hit it on like key and whatever. But I was kind of like, oh man, like, because I've had experience of like screaming before when when recording, and like you have to hit it, as you have to try to hit it the first time, the first go around, because otherwise it's just going to be diminishing returns. If you try it a second and third time, fourth time, you're less likely to hit it. And whenever I recorded this part, I hit it on the first try, and I was like, all right, awesome. I don't have to do it again. This is good.
Somebody please pray for me!
And that is something that I had in mind with the crescendo as well, But yeah, let's see. Let's do some chats here. What's going on, Courtney? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to be 27. 2021. Really? I wish. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Courtney. Thank you. I could. I would have to practice some more, but I feel like I could. This hits different for me. Thank you, Ramsey. I'm glad because that's one of the most important things, specifically I want people to have a visceral reaction. I want people to like actually feel something from the music, because I know I talked about before how like I wanted the music to be at the center, which is true, and I want the music to be the center and the narrative to kind of be on the side, and can be expressed in other sort of mediums and stuff. But even with the lyrics aside, like lyrics are good and lyrics like can be crucial, but ultimately the music does the talking. So you have to get that right, and the lyrics can't go against that. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work out the same way or as it should. But anyway, kind of going on from this point. What's over here? So this is just like I think it's like a reverb group that was like attached to that vocal. Anyway, going into the breakdown here. Let's see. sample of the bass part that comes with it. Really subby. And looking at the sample of the main drums, you can kind of hear it say the name of the track. You can kind of hear it say "Pray for Me." Let me look for it here, which I thought was interesting whenever I was looking for a good sample to go along with it. Still looking for it here. You can kind of hear it faintly say "Pray for me." That's something that I thought was interesting. Oh, you're 27, Jason? I had no idea. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. Awesome. Let's go back and listen to the chorus here. So basically the lyrics of the chorus are, could you pray for me? In my darkest hour, would you pray for me? Could you pray for me? Out this darkest place, would you pray for me? Which again lends itself to the whole, searching for that sense of hope and hopelessness, And then we go on to verse 2, which kind of brings in this guitar that really just for me it just cut. The initial versions of Pray for Me were really different, I'd have to go back and look to see what they were, but I have those on a different computer. So maybe for a future video I could kind of showcase that what alternate versions and what they looked like. But yeah, this guitar part was really it for me, and I think it gave it a lot. It just extended the power that was coming from the instrumental, So we're gonna take a listen to Okay, so let's go in and kind of highlight some of the those parts. Let's see here. So I did a lot of cutting of samples and in between each other to kind of give this sporadic sort of sense of going all over the place. I also very much like the choir samples that were down here. I think they're very interesting in their chords. I Again, we have some automated panning going on to kind of spread out the mix a little bit. But what I really want to show here is the guitar, which I think this is it right here. Which on this album, I don't play guitar, but I have played bass guitar in the past, and I actually did manage to get on a couple of the tracks with my bass guitar, and I think that's something that going forward I'm definitely gonna try to put more of into, so long as it makes sense and the quality is there. And this is just kind of for this verse is kind of redoing the chorus again. The show was over now before my final bow. The fates would not allow and never will until the end. So it's a little slight variations, I guess, but it's overall the same from the chorus.
Show is over now, without my final bow. The fates would not allow, and never will until the end.
How long did it take me to make this beat? From my memory, I think "Pray for Me" was actually the very last song that I had to finish up before I see what I did with this. Everything was new for this album, right? Including how I go about making music, right? I was very organized, and I knew how to structure the creative process for me. So I had told myself, okay, I'm going to record all the vocals and everything that has to come out my mouth. I'll save for that for recording for after the beats are ready. And then from there I go on to send it to Lay, and then he can mix it and master it and so on and so forth. But for this specific beat, I know that this one took the longest, and I would say if I had you also had to consider too that parts of this song were also from an initial concept that I had made like 2 or 3 years ago, but it never saw the light of day until now. I would say that it took me, say if I started November, December, I would say all things considered, it took me about like 2 months. It probably took me about 2 months to finish this one out. Again, kind of going back to the point that this song has a lot of the burden of setting the pace for the rest of the songs and the rest of the album that's going to be coming out, as the year goes on. So it was really crucial to get it right and for it to kind of, set the stage for the story and the narrative, So I think that's kind of another reason why it took longer to do. So let's see here. Let's keep listening.
Show is over now.
And then we kind of go back into the chorus again. right here, we're gonna get into a little different flair of the chorus again. It has a different backing chords to it that kind of make it, you know, the same but also a little different too, as you could, you know, see here.
Pray for me in my darkest hour. Would you pray for me? Could you pray for me at this darkest place? Would you pray for me?
So I kind of want to highlight the part that kind of makes that stand out a little bit more. Other than the bass, that's going on. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's just a snare right there. Let's see what else. Let's see. Let's see this. Huh. Where is it at?
Pray for me in my darkest hour. Would you pray for me? Could you pray for me at this darkest place? Would you pray for me?
So this is the part that kind of like makes it stand out a little bit more from the previous chorus.
Pray for me in my darkest hour. Would you pray for me? Could you pray for me at this darkest place? Would you pray for me?
What's going on, Kasuna? Welcome to the stream. Yeah. That one choral sound reminds me of the beginning of like a prayer. Yeah, it definitely does. Let me go back to that, because that was one thing that I liked it, and the initial stages of making this song, I was struggling to find a way where I could put it in where it made sense, but eventually it found its way onto this part, and yeah, I just kind of rocked with it, you know. Where's it at? Let's see here. This part, yeah. This part it's like pretty sure he was like pretty sure what was it? I'm forgetting what the instrument's called. Why? Dang, I can't remember. Back me up, Courtney. What's the name of this? What's the name of this of the instrument? It's not a piano, it's I forget. I forget. But yeah, that's one part that really kind of made it stand out. And plus, I think when you isolate my vocals, not to toot my own horn, of course, but when you isolate my vocals a little bit more, like it kind of it showcases a little bit more and kind of like this airiness, this and to me it sounds good. It sounds good to me, you know.
Pray for me in my dark.
Which again, it's just another saying of the same chorus.
Pray for me in my darkest hour. Would you pray for me?
An organ, there you go.
Could you pray for me at this darkest place? Would you pray for me?
Yeah. What's going on, Vetty? What's going on, Vetty side? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, so now we kind of go into the outro of the song here. And you'll kind of hear a little bit more of the narrative part of this song. You have all these swells, the horns, the strings, they're all playing.
What have you learned? Always making the same mistakes over and over. I was programmed inside to beat you. Virtual God.
The extent of my power you are yet to feel.
Will defeat you.
And so that was the outro of the album edit. And if you kind of combine the first intro skit with this one, I think it'll kind of set the stage for what you can expect with the story. But again, like, I'm trying to make it an experience, something that everyone can kind of like look at and kind of uh leave some mystery to it, you know? And I think I wouldn't say with so much with this, you can kind of glean more of the story from the rest of the songs, but I think a lot of what really is going to drive the story and tell the story will be the video content and that I eventually put out, to kind of like give breadcrumbs to what the story is and how it'll end, and that sort of thing. But I at least wanted to set the stage with this album edit, and kind of let people know that they're in store for, so definitely it's really exciting. But yeah, any other questions that anybody else had, like, I'll be more than happy to answer them about the creative process and making the song. But yeah, this has been Pray For Me, man. It's pretty proud of this one, and I'm excited for you guys to hear what else I have in store, uh this is so trippy. So yeah, there was parts of the song that you had that aren't in the single edit that are in the album edit, and that kind of, yeah, that's a whole other that's a whole other part that you had to listen to. And again, kind of going the stuff that I'll be putting out, the videos that aren't necessarily just about the music, those will kind of make more sense. Why do you want people to pray for you? Well, I think in the context of the album, it'll make sense for the situation that I find myself in. Because really, I mean, it's like, I don't even think you necessarily have to be religious to appreciate what a prayer could be. I had I had seen like this post before that was like kind of like was saying, you know this religious group calls it a prayer, this group calls it an incantation, You know, and just it kind of was like it was showcasing like pretty much different ways of seeing a prayer from different perspectives, but they're all kind of like the same thing. Um, you know, so I think to answer your question, uh you will see why I want people to pray for me, you know. Uh Given, you know, the story and the things to come with it, you know. Thank you, Ramsey. I appreciate that. Space Jing and I are listening. He said your production quality sounds amazing. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you. Is left for the listener to figure out. That is true. There you go. Courtney answered it for me. She answered the question for me, Steve. Yeah. Answering all religion are based on the same idea anyway. So something along those lines, you know. Just again, it kind of going in for that searching for faith and hope in a place of desolation and a place of despair. I think that's something that is probably the most universal thing, you know, the most universal thing, the most understood by all of humanity, no matter what walk of life you come from, or what sort of faith or beliefs that you have or what you practice, you know. Um, but definitely there's an actual like I guess more of a realistic way you can interpret them, but then like there's also like the story from the character that is singing this song. Um, and that will, you know, be further elaborated on in the future. Uh, yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Um, yeah. Thank you. You said what I couldn't say. You know. That's yeah, definitely. I appreciate that, Corey. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think it was a smart move to make an album edit and then a single edit. Basically making the single edit for more so of the like actual like listening experience. What's going on, Drew? You bad mother. Welcome, welcome. Sorry again that if you like the stream or anything and there wasn't the sound coming through, I didn't really have too much time to look into why it wasn't working, but as long as they come up, that's cool. Which I am trying to work on to add more different new alerts to kind of fit in with the new story and the whole like just to kind of like the general sort of vibe that I'm trying to push out for the new album and whatnot. So that's something to look forward to for sure. uh let's see here. Wait a damn minute. What's going on, Drew? Thank you, Cordy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is there are moments where it's sad and then there's moments where it's beautiful too. You know? I think definitely one thing I can always say for maybe not for every song, but definitely for albums, I like to span the whole the whole range of emotion, you know, from sadness to happiness, to from despair to melancholy, and so on and so forth. And while that's a little bit hard to do for an individual song, it's easier to do, I would say, if you're creative enough with the body of work. And I think that's something that you'll see with new songs going forward in the future, you know. Um but yeah, yeah, this has been Pray For Me. And yeah, I'm glad everyone's liking it so far. And I definitely hope that you're excited for more stuff uh coming down the way. Again, if you missed it before, I am putting out an instrumental version of this next week, and then the week after that there will be a slowed and reverb version of this song posted to YouTube and Spotify and stuff, because I really feel like it kind of makes it into a different song pretty much. And it's if if the sort of like moody and vibey sort of thing is what you like, I think you would definitely love that. Maybe even more than this one when it's slowed down and reverbed. And so yeah, I'm kind of like with every new release, I kind of want to following it, I kind of want to make a rendition of it, whether it's slowed down or reverbed. I have a few nightcore edits. If you don't know what nightcore is, it's pretty much if you speed up whatever song you're playing by 35%. So if you were to basically take this MP3 and speed it up by 35%, which it's at 125 BPM, I think it'd be like what, like 162 or something like that. I forget, but yeah. So I mean, I have a few nightcore edits for some of the songs, you know, and then I'd like to, you know, to kick it around and to see if anyone can remix some of my songs. That'd be pretty cool. Which, by the way, again, in case you missed it, I know we got a lot of content creators in here, you know. So if you want to use the instrumental that I put out and stuff next week and stuff, you know, feel free to do so. I just asked that if you give me credit, that's cool. Um, and that goes with any of the other versions that I come out with in the future. You know, I've been good, man. I've been good. How you been, man? With all these comments, I'm gonna walk away the keyboard. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I appreciate all the support from everybody, man. Just being here, hanging out with me, just commenting, it all is appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate everyone. But yeah, definitely look forward to the instrumental coming out next week, and then the other versions, and then by next month we'll have a new track to go and dissect and kind of talk about. I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks I'll have a video out on my YouTube to kind of because I've been talking about a lot about the story of this album, and I wanted to put out a video that kind of like tells more of the story. um I wanted to put that out like in the next 2 weeks, but it still has a little bit of work to put into it. But definitely look forward to that. So definitely make sure if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, stay tuned to the socials and stuff, and there's lots to look forward to that way. Also, I know that I mentioned if you want to use the instrumental, but I also do have stems. I also have stems. If anybody wants to do a remix or addition to the songs, just let me know. We could work out some way that I could send it to you. Um, that's always available. I'm always down for a collab or something like that, or a remix. Um, yeah. But never was called Night Course. How do you hear incorporates on that? Yeah, both of them. The reverb and slow down. What's going on, James Webster? You bad mother. The reverb and slow down and the nightcore edit, like totally like change like the vibe of the song. You know, it sounds pretty much like a different song almost. Like you'd have to hear it, but it sounds really cool. So definitely look forward to that coming up. But yeah, any other questions that you guys have, let me know. I think we'll slowly start to kind of round out the stream. Again, I was planning on doing some gaming tonight, but I have to work early tomorrow, so we'll have to schedule it another day. That's also something that I kind of want to talk about as well. I do kind of want to get back into more streaming. What's going on, James, you bad mother? What's going on? How you been, man? Welcome. Dang, I wish I had my soundboard. I'd be smacking the clapping sound right now. Will you be releasing your next EP on cassettes? Very, very interesting question. I would have to find vendors that actually like do that for you. I've been doing good, man. Thank you. But it definitely is in line with the whole theme of the album for sure. Having this analog VHS cassette sort of VHS thing going on, it definitely would make sense. I would just have to find a third party that actually does that for you and converts it onto a cassette, or maybe I could learn to do it somehow, some way. That's also a possibility. But I definitely am interested in doing something special like that. Maybe it wouldn't be it'd be a limited edition, and I'd only make a couple versions, or hell, maybe I even make one cassette, you know, and like we could do like a bid war or something like that. I don't know, but it's a possibility. It definitely is a possibility. So definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, no, it definitely is. Um, I have I have an idea. I don't want to spoil it. Well, should I? I had an idea for like, because eventually I wanted to have this as a physical album, like a CD. You know what I mean? Um, but it I don't know if I want to say right now. I kind of want to leave it a surprise. I want to leave it a surprise, but I like where your head at is, James. Rest assured, my head is kind of in the same spot. You know what I mean? So definitely, there's stuff to look forward to with that. Yeah, definitely. Send me something like that. I'd definitely like to look into that for sure. Definitely. If you could book any superpower, what would it be? It would be teleportation, obviously, because the benefits would just be amazing. You know, that's a very good question. What would your superpower be, Vetty Side? I'm sorry. Very. What drop your? Everyone drop their superpower in the chat. Their preferred superpower. I'll send you the sneaky links. Oh, okay. Dang. But yeah, this is awesome, guys. I appreciate it. What is your favorite ice cream? Uh, cookies and cream? I'd say cookies and cream for sure. Okay, if Eddie's just giving me questions right now, I like it. I like it. Sure. How long have you been doing music? How did you start? I guess you could say. I guess you could say I started like in 2017 ish, 2018 ish, which kind of goes to my what I was saying earlier, where I kind of wanted to do like behind the scenes, kind of like documentary of the first album and kind of like where my head at was back then. Because I feel like a lot of people who know me now weren't really around for that era of that time of my journey. And I think it'd be interesting to kind of go back and tell that, you know, that account. Um, but yeah, I'd say 2017, 2018. Although like I was writing lyrics and rhymes and stuff before that, like 2015, 2016. How did I start? How did I start? I guess you could say I my best buddy, Conscience, Conscience the Medic, was a musician, and I so happened to be a aspiring filmmaker, and videographer. And so I had found out that he had made music. And then so I kind of approached him and say, hey, like, you want to do a music video? You want me to do I want to do a music video with you. And he's like, oh, okay, sure. So then and I'll have to send you the first music video that we did together. But eventually we just did that music video, and it was a fun enough experience. And then we just started doing more and more music videos, and eventually like I was clueless how to produce, and like everything that I kind of like started to learn how to do, and like DAWs and everything like that, and you know, MIDI and VSTs and stuff like that, I kind of peeped from him. And then slowly as the years went by, I kind of like started to get more invested for my own. And then eventually that led to me putting out A Place Beyond the Noise, which was my first album. Um, and how I always think of A Place Beyond the Noise was that it was very ambitious. Wasn't perfect. It had a lot of things wrong with it, but I mean, it was still worth the experience of putting out that. And you know, even with this album, you know, I'm sure it's not perfect, but you know, that's the thing. You just kind of keep learning and keep growing and keep failing, really, so you can kind of get better and better and iterate on the process you know, as you go. How you? I'm doing good, Drew. I always say teleportation. That is a good, very good superpower. Is shapeshift. Okay, okay. My preferred superpower would be to make Jason Black disappear. Shape changing so I could come Jennifer Aniston's Gene String. Oh, okay, wow, that's very specific. Oh wow, this isn't that long to be such a great idea. I mean, yeah, it 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. About 6 years, you know. So I guess it's not that long if you really think about it, but man, that feels like it was a while ago. And when even been my guess. Where would you teleport to? Mine would be complicated. Wish I could just have my paintings done without having to put in the work of painting them. Okay, very interesting. Where would I teleport to? Anywhere to my heart's desire. If I wanted to be in Hawaii one day, I'd be in Hawaii. And if I wanted to be at the top of the Eiffel Tower, poof. Really, just Jumper. If you know the movie Jumper, that's pretty much it. That's the pretty much how I would do things. You know, if you teleport, you'd also be doing some time traveling. For example, if you teleport to India right now, it's already February 28th over there. If I were to go to right back to the U.S., that's February 27th again. True. So it's really when you pick teleportation, you get like two superpowers. So I think that makes it more appealing for sure. Um, but yeah, any other questions you guys have had, let me know. Question: if I were to do a gaming stream, what game would you want to see me play? I recently was playing Amnesia the last time I was streaming, and I'd like to go back to that. But let me know if you have any suggestions. I could take a look at them. And yeah, I would like to get more into streaming. I know definitely because I have plans to release a new song every single month. So it would make sense for me to do one of these streams, a release party live stream every time I do it. So that's like once a month. I'd like to do two a month, honestly. Um, and then because really it's just a matter of time to me to juggle between live streaming and making shorts and then making like those narrative driven videos for my YouTube, which are very important to me for this album as well. So it's kind of like a juggle, but I would like to like have one of these streams where I'm kind of breaking down the songs and stuff and kind of like behind the scenes stuff, and then kind of have a stream where it's just like gaming and just chilling. So definitely I know like before I kind of like I've been away from streaming for a minute, okay? Right? But I would like to get back into that even if it's just one more stream a month, you know. But we'll kind of see. That's what I have in mind, but I'd have to kind of see what I'd have to cut out in order to make that happen, just with my work schedule and time and stuff. Um this you twiddle what? Is that a game? Is that a game, Drew? I never heard of that game. I haven't picked up any Dark Souls yet. I have not picked up Dark Souls, but I have been very curious. I've been very curious about Dark Souls, to be honest. So maybe I have to try that out. Uh, yeah, that's very interesting that you mentioned that. But yeah. What else? What else? Any other suggestions? Leave them. Drop them down in the comment section. Uh, yeah. Again, I really appreciate everyone listening. If you're not subscribed already, consider subscribing. And if you could be so generous, consider sharing out the new song, whether it be on for YouTube, Spotify. It's on all major streaming platforms. So definitely appreciate the support. And above all else, I appreciate everyone being here with me tonight and just spending time with me and hanging out. It feels good to do it in a live stream again. Honestly, it's been too long, But I'm definitely gonna try to take more of a kind of a balanced approach for the streams and the videos and content stuff. Also, I'd like to get a test of how everyone feels, but I do want to I do want to start like a blog, and in that blog, you'd get like exclusive behind the scenes, like audio journals that are about the creation of the album, and like you'd get like, if it's not an audio like journal, it'd be like a written out sort of like behind the scenes stuff, and maybe you'll get like behind the scenes videos that you wouldn't get anywhere else, um, unless you were a part of the newsletter and the blog. If you signed up with your email, would anybody? Does that sound like a cool idea to anybody in the chat? Because that is something that I would like to do, to kind of build up my email list a little bit, and uh go a little bit more in depth into my creative process and behind the scenes stuff. Thank you, Rams. I appreciate that. No, thank you. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. Besides with the police simulator game. Okay, maybe I can revisit that again. Even didn't get through my favorite Let's Players doing Dark Souls 2. Okay. So maybe Dark Souls is the one to go through. Don't consider subscribing or sharing. Steve, okay. Don't, there you go. Okay. Oh, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And once for the song, and again for Sweat's birthday. Thank you, Vetty. I appreciate that. Email sounds like spam. Okay, that's fair. It would be once a month. It'd be once a month, and even with that, like you would still get special like discounts on merch that is coming up. So I mean, but really the newsletter would only be like once a month. And I mean, it could just be something that, if you wanted to know more about what I do, like how I do what I do and stuff like that, I think it could be, something that people could enjoy. Thank you, Ramsey. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll drop a big R for Ramsey in the chat. I want to see Police Simulator again too. Okay, so we'll have to make a return to Police Simulator. Okay. Corey likes the email list idea. The email list idea. You can cry if you want to. Okay. I will consider crying. I will, since it's my party and my birthday. But yeah. Your process. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that. Is there anything we can play with crowbars in it? There is a fair amount of games with crowbars. I'll have to get a short list of all the games with crowbars in them. I know Condemned was one. But that's the thing too. I replayed Condemned like on one stream, but I never got around to finishing it. Thank you for the R in the chat, Courtney. Thank you. Yeah, maybe I'll have to pick that up again. We shall see. But anyway, I appreciate every single one of you for being here tonight from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all the happy birthday shout outs. It means a lot to me. And thank you for listening to the song and being a part of the journey as well. Things to look forward to coming up. Next week, instrumental version will be dropped. Week after that, we'll have a reverb and slowed version. After that, probably a Nightcore edit. All on YouTube. I think we'll be on Spotify and Apple Music as well. And then hopefully in about 2 weeks I have a 5 to 10 minute video for YouTube to kind of explain to kind of give more of those breadcrumbs of the story that I think people will like. So definitely look forward to that, as well as shorts. I think instead of doing every single day, I'll probably put out shorts 3 to 4 times a week, and instead of that, kind of replace, instead of having shorts every single day, do 3 shorts a week and then kind of focus on the other videos and stuff. But yeah, is Visage ever releasing more stuff? That was my favorite. I don't think so. But I mean, it might be worth going back to play Visage again. And then we could play with Chrome. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. Thank you. Some older games like Tony Hawk Underground has great music, but you get copyright strikes through music probably. Russell, hope you have a great beat at that. Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate you. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. It means a lot. But anyway, so yeah, lots to look forward to, guys. This is just the beginning. It's a new story, new chapter for me, and I appreciate you guys for being along for the ride, and I hope you guys continue to stick around and kind of see what else is in store. You know, lots to look forward to and lots to be excited about. But of course, I will keep you updated as things progress. To chatting to you, so thank you, Courtney. Much love is to you as well. Okay. So I think that about does it for us, ladies and gentlemen. This has been one hell of a party. The Pray For Me release party live stream. It's been a blast. I'll let you know when I do the game stream. And the game stream, I think I'm going to keep the Sweats Plays. So if you're not subscribed to Sweats Plays, if you're on my YouTube channel, if you go all the way down, you'll see Sweats Plays channel. That's where we'll live stream the games at. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to that. And that has all my old Sweats Plays VODs on there as well. So definitely keep an eye on that. But yeah. Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone for spending time with me. Thank you for all the happy birthday wishes again. And as always, peace out, guys.